Christmas Eve edition of NBL Now coming your way as we navigate what is a wild start to the 12 days of Christmas. There's been some spectacular hoops action. It continues tonight. 2 games for Christmas Day and, of course, Boxing Day hoops as well. Joel Peterson with you alongside the Hall of Famer Lanard Copeland on Christmas Eve. Hello, Copes.
Joel, how are you, my friend?
I'm very, very well. I'm in the festive spirit. What about yourself?
I'm always in the festive spirit. I love Christmas. I'm like a kid, man. I want to go to the store and buy me some toys so I can play with my own toys.
I like it. Hopefully, you get a golf simulator from Father Christmas. I think that'll be the go. Hey, plenty of hoops to get to. Let's talk about last night first. Melbourne United and Tassie. Tassie come into John Cain Arena. No Will Magnay. A lot made about that. Had some concerns about what that might look like for Scott Roth's team. And they were pretty comprehensive in the end against Melbourne United and surviving a late run. What did you make of the Jack Jumpers side of that, first of all?
Well, the Jack Jumpers have always played well at John Cain Arena. They come in here, it's like their home courts. They come in here with plenty of confidence. And the way Melbourne's been playing of late, you'd always feel like you had a chance. Scott Roth's a smart coach. He knows what he's doing. And by the way, I need to apologize to Tasmania because about 2 or 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, I said they would not make the top 6. I was wrong. Let me put my hand up. These guys are rolling. They're playing good basketball. They've gone through some injuries. But they were a better team last night. I mean, Melbourne United got Chris Golding back, which was great, and Montrezl, which was great as well. And they did all the right things, Joel. They out-rebounded Tassie. They had more points in the paint than Tassie. But that fear factor is gone, I think. People used to be afraid to come in here and play Melbourne. New Zealand have come in here and spanked them. Cairns have come in here and spanked them. Brisbane have come in here and spanked them. Now, again, yes, you've lost a lot of your superstars from injuries or whatever, but they just don't have that fear anymore. I mean, there's no one's afraid anymore.
What do you see with Melbourne United at the moment? Because they've lost the last 4. Tassie have won the last 6, and they're sort of piling up some pretty impressive wins. But from the Melbourne United perspective, from a team that was on top of the table and looked like it was going to be really tough to beat them, they have got Chris Golding back now, and no, he's probably not at 100%, but it just doesn't seem as sharp as it has been and was earlier in the season.
It's not the same team. I mean, Dean's a defensive coach, and I'm going to say this now. Dean will figure it out because he's been there and done that for years and years. So don't underestimate Melbourne United. But I just think guys are playing different roles now. When Chris was out, they had Jack White at the 3, and he's shooting threes. Dellavedova's more of a scorer now than he is a defensive player. It used to be all about the defense. And I'm not blaming these guys. Those are the roles you have to take when other guys go down. Sha'ili's trying to score a little bit more. And Ian Clark's in and out. He's in and out. He's starting 1 minute. He's not starting. So without making any excuses, they're not the same team. They don't have that fear factor anymore. But I still think they have enough talent to figure it out.
And for Tassie, who all of a sudden are in the top 4, is this, even without Will Magnay, do you think they can do enough to keep themselves there?
I think so. With Roth, he's a smart coach. And every time he does an interview, they always ask him, well, what do you think about the opposition team? He goes, we don't worry about the opposition team. We just worry about what we do. And that's a smart coach. When you can go in there and figure out what you're doing, let the other team worry about you and you not worry about them. Now, yes, they talk about Chris Golding and coming off of screens and not letting him get hot and staying with him. But if they can figure out their side of things better than any other team, then they're going to have more success than any other team.
Melbourne 3rd, Tassie 4th after that result last night. So tonight, you and I will be on the call for Adelaide and Brisbane. So our Christmas Eve clash, a little bit earlier start, so 5:30 Eastern time, 5 o'clock if you're in the great state of South Australia. And this is a matchup of some real sort of consequence, Copes. 7th and 8th, a loss would put Adelaide 1.5 games behind 6th. Brisbane, a win would move them back into the top 6. A win for Adelaide keeps them right within striking distance. A loss for the Bullets means, there's some of their good work of recent times has been a little bit undone. But the stakes for this one, even though we're a long way away from play-in basketball in the postseason, we're getting a few of these games that mean a lot.
Absolutely. And I don't think both of these teams will make the top six. I think maybe one will. And you're right, this game tonight plays a major role in that decision. You know what? Adelaide is tough at home. What have Adelaide won? 8 of 10 at home, I think, or somewhere like that. They're tough at home. They got Trez back. You know, Davis has been magnificent the whole year. If Cotton didn't go on his little streak, we'd be talking about Davis as MVP. You know, when you miss DJ and Sunday, you miss a lot of the character of that team. DJ's a scorer. Sunday's a defensive stopper. Those guys out, it hurts them. But I think Isaac stepped up, man. Isaac Humphries has definitely stepped up. And I knew Isaac was a great player back in the day. He just needed the ball. He's getting the ball a little bit more. You know, you got guys like Latman who's starting to feel a little bit better about himself now because he was taken out of the lineup. I feel like a guy like Jason Kadee, who's been around a long time, can help that program as well because he comes in and knows how to get guys the ball. Now, with Brisbane, it's all about one guy, Prather. Prather has been, you know, I shouldn't say that because their imports have been playing quite well. Cooks has been well. Prather's been on fire. But to lose Bateman is going to hurt them because now they really only have one guard in Norton who can handle, you know, who can handle KD. And if he gets into foul trouble like he did last week, I just don't know if they have enough to shut that thing down.
It's going to be a fascinating matchup. Who does step up? Does Justin Schuller have somewhere he can go to replace Justin Bateman? Does he move to bigger lineups and get Josh Bannon a bit more minutes? How does the shuffling occur from a Brisbane perspective?
Well, you probably have to go put Bannon in there, and then you'd move Prather down from the 4 to the 3, which might hurt him. It might hurt him. He's at the 4 now. Most guys that have to guard him are a bit slower. He can get that 3 off a bit quicker. But now when you put him at that 3 spot, he's playing on the wing. These guys primarily are probably a little bit faster than him. Prather's a little bit older now. You know, they drive by him. He gets into foul trouble. You know, they're a little bit quicker. He's not getting that 3 off as quick. So this could hurt Brisbane. I don't know if you go big or you go small. I'm sure Schuller will figure it out. But I would leave Prather right where he is because for the last 5 or 6 games, he's been unstoppable.
How does Mike Wells get this Adelaide group back together after a 20-point loss on Saturday, Copes, in a game that means so much for them, still without DJ? You know, you've got Montrezl back, you've got KD, you've got Jarrell Martin there who's really struggled to have an impact off the bench. What do you think Mike Wells' message is coming into this one?
His message is we're at home. We're at home and we play a different game at home. It is what it is. Right now, you just want them to build some confidence. You want them to get this win because, like you said, this win is probably more important than the next win because you're playing against a team who's fighting for that same spot as you are. So at the end of the day, you say, we're at home, fellas. We're laying in our own beds. We're eating our own food here. Let's go out and play Adelaide basketball. And I'm sure that place is going to be sold out like always.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big night in the City of Churches. 6-2 at home this season, the Adelaide 36ers. So they've been red hot at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, that is for sure. Another story here is that Montrezl Harrell, apparently, according to Olgun Ulic, is signing in on a deal with Reebok to be wearing some pretty flashy kicks tonight and in the next couple of weeks. Now, there's a little bit of history between you and that particular brand, is there not, Copes?
Well, I wore the pump a long time ago. And I wore it in the Dominique Wilkins All-Star game. Felt like back then we thought the pump was going to make us jump higher. You know what I mean? I think I had a flat tire straight away. But I think that shoe is a very good shoe. And look, if you can get a deal with Reebok now, I'm sure they're fattening that pocket. And he's proud to wear that shoe.
Yeah, absolutely. Loves his kicks, Montrezl Harrell. So keep an eye on that in our broadcast game tonight. So again, 5:30, the call of that one, 5 o'clock in Adelaide and 2:30 over in the West, or 7:30 if you're in New Zealand, tuning in to that one. And of course, right around the world as part of the NBL broadcast. Christmas Day Hoops is back this year. 2 games coming your way. Again, they kick off in the late afternoon. So you've had your Christmas lunch, you've had the nap, the obligatory nap in the middle of the afternoon on Christmas, Copes, and you're just priming yourself for some hoops to get you through the night. Tassie in New Zealand kicks us off. of course, Tassie back at home, always a tough out. New Zealand somewhat improved against Sydney in their last game, but still couldn't seal the deal. How do you see the Breakers faring when they head into MyState Bank Arena?
Am I correct in saying they played the first game of the year or somewhere earlier in the season and New Zealand was down in Tassie? And I think New Zealand got the win in Tassie early. Is that right, or am I close in saying
I think they might have played up north because I don't think Tassie's lost at MyState Bank Arena this season.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, I just think Tassie with if you just come into Melbourne and beat Melbourne, your confidence is sky high. I mean, the way they played, the way they got around each other, the way they helped each other out. I just don't know if New Zealand are at that stage now. PJC's not the PJC we're used to seeing. Mooney's been down. Meninga's been down. Lopez has been pretty good. And to our surprise, Taco Fall's getting better. They're learning how to play with him, which is great. But I just don't know if this team is the same team as we saw earlier in the season.
Yeah, it's a tough and Tassie's a very different team to what we saw earlier in the season. We know that. Then the late game, isn't this going to be something? The Freeway Series, a heated rivalry, Christmas Day hoops, and then we unpack and we unwrap a 1v2 matchup between the all-conquering Illawarra Hawks, fresh off putting 120 up on the defenseless Perth Wildcats, against the Sydney Kings, who have just let everyone sort of slip and slide their way around that table and have just been sitting there doing what they have to do and winning games. This is going to be something very special at Kudos Bank Arena.
It is big brother versus little brother, but I don't know if we can say it that way because Illawarra now is the big brother. They're in first place. They look forward to playing against the Sydney Kings. I'm sure they have a full house. I think Illawarra are playing with plenty of confidence. They can score with the best of them. And I love the way that he brings his second five in, and they don't miss a beat. These guys come in, shoot the ball well, they play defense well, and they love playing for their coach, and that's why they're having so much success. Now, with the Sydney Kings, really depends on which Sydney Kings we see. I mean, over the last couple of weeks, Gordon's sort of playing his stars a little bit more now. I mean, the other night, I think Cooks got 29 points. I think Adams played 36, 37 minutes, and he was great. Quatnoy played 31 minutes. Tui played 32 minutes. So my argument earlier was you're playing too many guys. Guys are playing 15, 20 minutes, and they can't get into a rhythm. Now his superstars are finally getting into a rhythm, and they look great. And you don't want to be playing the Sydney Kings when they start to look great.
Styles make fights, and this is the classic. One team is an offensive powerhouse, and the other team is a lockdown defensive, number one defense in the competition versus the number one offense in the competition. When they lock horns, Copes, how does it shake out? Who wins, do you think?
Wow, that's a hard one, Joe. I usually have the answer. I'm going to say Sydney at home, but there's a but to this. If Illawarra come out all guns blazing and start knocking down threes like they have in recent times, then it could be a blowout. But I just think with Sydney's confidence now, if Gordon plays the guys the way he's been playing them, they know this game means a lot. They don't want Illawarra to come into their house and beat them. And they've done that before. It just doesn't feel right. It's like back in the day when the Melbourne guys came in and beat us at our place. You don't feel it right walking down the street. This place belongs to us. You can't come in here and beat us. So we're going to see what kind of Sydney Kings come to play on Christmas Day.
So two massive games, 6 o'clock Eastern Daylight time tomorrow night. Tassie and New Zealand kicks off. And 8:30, once you've had your Christmas dinner, you're sitting back, you've got a cold refreshment and enjoying the showpiece. That'll be Sydney and Illawarra at Kudos Bank Arena. Copes, looking forward to seeing you tonight. A very Merry Christmas to you. And, it's going to be a massive couple of days of NBL hoops.
Joel, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Merry Christmas to all the viewers, the NBL viewers. Merry Christmas to everyone. Let's have a good one tonight, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lanard. Copeland joining us on NBL Now. Very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, no matter how you celebrate in this period. Make sure it is a safe one. NBL Now will be back tomorrow. We've got heaps of content coming your way. And, of course, Hoops Christmas Eve, Hoops Christmas Day, and Boxing Day as the 12 days of Christmas roll on. Hope yours is a good and a safe one, and we'll see you soon.